You know what's funny? Sarah's voice cut through the laughter in our living room like a knife. My ex Brad used to surprise me with weekend trips to Napa. Joel here surprised me with a Costco membership. I stood frozen in the doorway, holding the lasagna I'd spent 2 hours making after my 12-hour maintenance shift. Her 3 friends, Melissa, Karen, and Brittany, went silent. Wine glasses hung mid-air. I watched Melissa's face contort with second-hand embarrassment. Sarah, come on, Melissa started. No, I'm serious. Sarah held up her left hand, the anniversary band catching the light. The one I'd saved 3 months to buy. Brad understood what a woman needs. Brad cared more about making me feel special than Joel ever has. The lasagna dish trembled in my hands. I'd used my mother's recipe. I'd stopped at 3 stores to find the right cheese. I'd burned my thumb on the oven rack. I'll leave you ladies to it, I managed, my voice barely above a whisper. I walked down the hallway to our bedroom, each step feeling like I was wading through concrete. Behind me, I heard Karen whisper something sharp to Sarah. I heard Sarah laugh, that new laugh she'd developed, the one that sounded nothing like the woman I married. My phone was already in my hand when I closed the bedroom door. I pulled up the contact I'd saved 2 weeks ago, after the incident at her office party where she'd joked that I was her practice husband before she got it right. Mitchell and Associates, divorce attorneys. My thumb hovered over the call button. Through the door, I heard Sarah say something about settling, and when you're young and stupid. More laughter. I pressed dial. Please, before I continue, kindly like, share and subscribe for more interesting videos. The shower water ran cold over my maintenance uniform. I hadn't even bothered to undress. Navy blue shirt with my name patch, Joel, soaked through, clinging to my chest. Water pooled in my work boots. 6 years ago, I was pulling $120,000 as a mechanical engineer at Davidson Industries. 6 years ago I had a future. Then Sarah's mother got cancer and Sarah fell apart. Someone had to drive Patricia to chemo 3 times a week. Someone had to sit through the 8-hour infusions. Someone had to hold her hair when she vomited, change her sheets at 3 a.m., crush her pills into applesauce when she couldn't swallow. I quit my job. Took the maintenance position because it had flexible hours. Night shifts, weekends, whatever it took to get Patricia to her appointments while Sarah was too broken to function. For 18 months, I was Patricia's caregiver. I learned to read morphine charts. I learned which foods wouldn't destroy her stomach. I learned how to bathe a dying woman with dignity. Patricia's last words, holding my hand, take care of my baby. You're the best thing that ever happened to her. But Sarah never saw it. Never acknowledged that I went from engineer to janitor so her mother could die with someone who loved her nearby. She just started resenting me for not being Brad, the guy who ghosted her the second things got hard. My phone buzzed on the bathroom counter. My sister Emma, hey big bro. Mom's asking if you and Sarah are coming to Sunday dinner? I stared at it through the shower steam. Sunday dinner. Pretending everything was fine. Pretending my wife didn't wish she'd married someone else. Through the door, Sarah's voice carried, Brad just texted me. He's asking if I'm happy. My jaw clenched so hard I thought my teeth would crack. I turned off the water, stood up dripping, and made a decision that would change everything. Tomorrow morning, I was calling Catherine Pierce. Catherine Pierce's office smelled like leather and old books. She was maybe 55, gray-streaked hair pulled back, eyes that had probably seen 1,000 marriages die on her desk. Mr. Bennett, I have to ask, is there any chance of reconciliation? Marriage counseling? She folded her hands, genuinely asking, not just checking a legal box. She told me her ex cared more. In front of her friends. While I was serving dinner I made with my own hands after a 12-hour shift unclogging toilets. The words tasted bitter coming out. Her ex who disappeared when her mother was dying. That ex. Catherine's expression softened. I see. Let's talk assets. House is in both names. About $47,000 in equity. Joint savings has $8,200. She makes $67,000 in marketing. I make $43,000. No kids, thank God. I laughed, but it sounded hollow. At least I didn't trap children in this. Any inheritance expected? Lottery winnings? Anything unusual we should know about? I actually laughed at that. Yeah, I'm secretly a millionaire maintenance worker. I just unclog rich people's toilets for fun. Catherine slid papers across her mahogany desk. Sign here and here. Based on Texas law and what you've described, this should be straightforward. I'll have her served tomorrow. She'll have 30 days to respond. My pen hovered over the signature line. 6 years of marriage, ending with $20 worth of ink. Every Friday for 4 years I'd bought a lottery ticket at Morty's Gas and Go. My dad's ritual. He'd done it for 30 years before his heart attack killed him at 58. It's not about winning, son, he used to say. It's about having one moment a week where you let yourself dream. I never told Sarah about the tickets. She'd called Dad's dreams working-class delusions once. My phone vibrated in my pocket. A notification I barely registered. I signed my name. Catherine collected the papers. I'm sorry it came to this, Joel. Me too. Sarah stood in front of our bedroom mirror, applying lipstick. The black dress, the one I'd put on layaway last Christmas, paying $47 a month for 3 months because I wanted to see her smile. Joel? Can you get the door? I'm meeting Brad and some mutual friends for drinks. Brad. Of course it was Brad. I appeared in the doorway. It's for you. Can't you just... She turned, annoyed, lipstick wand frozen midair. It's divorce papers, Sarah. You've been served. The lipstick clattered into the sink. Her face drained of color like someone had opened a valve. At our front door, the process server stood with his clipboard, professionally neutral. This is a joke, right? Joel? Joel. Her voice climbed an octave with each word. I kept my voice steady, almost clinical. You said Brad cared more. So go be with someone who cares. I'm done being compared to a man who abandoned you the moment things got real with your mom. I turned to walk away. Freedom was 10 steps down that hallway. Wait, her phone buzzed on the dresser. I saw her face change as she read the screen. Confusion, then horror. His wife. She looked up at me, then back at her phone. Joel? Joel, wait. I kept walking. Behind me, I heard her frantically typing, probably asking Brad what his wife meant by, stay away from my husband. What Sarah didn't know, what she'd never bothered to Google, was that Brad married Christine Morrison 6 months after dumping Sarah. Christine's father owned the dealership. Brad had traded love for a management position and debt forgiveness. His Instagram life was a lie funded by his father-in-law's money and his wife's controlling grip. Everyone knew. Everyone except Sarah, who'd been too busy romanticizing the past to fact-check it. My phone buzzed again in my pocket. That lottery notification I'd ignored at Catherine's office. I pulled it out while walking to my truck. Congratulations. Winning numbers matched. Claim your prize, $19 million. I stopped breathing. The world tilted sideways. $19 million. 48 hours after filing for divorce. Behind me, I heard our front door slam open. Sarah running. I was staying at Emma's house, sleeping on her couch. Couldn't sleep. It was 11:47 p.m. and I was staring at my phone, at that lottery notification, wondering if I was hallucinating. Aggressive pounding on Emma's door made us both jump. Who the hell? Emma started down the stairs in her robe. I opened the door. Sarah stood there, mascara streaked down her face like war paint, hair disheveled, still wearing that black dress. She looked destroyed. He's married. Her voice cracked. Brad's been married for 6 years. His wife called me screaming after she saw his texts. I know. You knew. Her eyes went wide, disbelieving. Sarah, everyone knew. His wedding photos are on Facebook. You just never looked because you were too busy remembering the fantasy of who he was instead of the reality of who he is. She crumbled onto Emma's porch steps like her legs had given out. Sobs racked her whole body, the kind of crying that sounds like drowning. I'm so sorry. Oh God, Joel, I'm so sorry. You gave up everything for my mom and I threw it in your face. You've been working yourself to death while you've been wishing you married someone else. Emma stood behind me, arms crossed, watching. She'd never liked how Sarah treated me. She'd bitten her tongue for years out of respect for my choices. My phone buzzed in my hand. The notification expanded, claim your prize. Customer service available 24/7. Sarah looked up through tears. Joel? What is it? I couldn't speak. My mouth had gone dry. The screen glowed between us. $19 million. Sarah saw it. Her hand flew to her mouth. Oh my God, Emma whispered behind me. I'd won the lottery 72 hours after filing for divorce. The universe had a sick sense of humor. Emma's living room. 1:30 a.m. The three of us sat in stunned silence around that glowing phone screen like it was a bomb. Joel, do you understand what this, Emma started? This could be a fresh start for us. Sarah's voice shook. We could finally... I laughed. Actually laughed. It sounded unhinged even to my own ears. A fresh start? Sarah, 72 hours ago you told me your ex cared more than I do. Now I'm a millionaire and suddenly I'm worth another chance. That's not fair. I'm apologizing. I made a mistake. You made a choice. I stood up, pacing. You chose to humiliate me because I wasn't enough. Because I gave up my career to save your mother's last year on Earth, and somehow that made me less in your eyes. Emma's voice cut through, quiet but sharp. He checked Dad's lottery tickets. The ones he buys every Friday like Dad used to. He's been honoring that ritual for 10 years, and you called it working-class delusions. Sarah's face crumbled with recognition. I'd forgotten she'd said that. Emma hadn't. Catherine already told me, I said, voice hollow. Anything I win before the divorce is final is marital property. You're entitled to half. $9.5 million. You'll never have to work again if you're smart with it. I don't want the money. Joel, please, I want US. I walked to Emma's door, hand on the knob. Then I stopped. Something occurred to me, something I'd never told Sarah because the rejection still stung. There's something you should know first. Something I never told you. Sarah looked up, mascara-stained face full of desperate hope. 3 months ago, David Chin, my old colleague from Davidson, offered me a lead engineering position at Tesla. Austin facility. $185,000 base salary. Stock options. Signing bonus. The color drained from Sarah's face again. I was going to take us somewhere new. Start fresh. Build the life we always talked about. My voice was steady now, cold even. But you told me I couldn't do it. That I'd been out too long. That your life here, your friends, your social circle, was too important to risk on my dream. Joel, no. Sarah whispered, standing up from the couch. You know what's funny? I declined that offer because I loved you. Because I thought, even broke and struggling, we were partners. I could feel Emma watching us, silent. Then you compared me to Brad in front of your friends while I was serving you dinner I made with my own hands. What are you saying? Emma asked quietly. I turned back to Sarah. The offer's still good for 3 more months. David told me the door stays open. So here's what's happening. I'm taking the job. I'm moving to Austin. And you can have half the lottery money in the divorce. $9.5 million. You'll be richer than Brad ever pretended to be. I don't want the money. Joel, please, I want US. My phone rang. Catherine Pierce's name on the screen. I answered on speaker. Joel, we need to talk. Sarah's attorney just contacted me. She's contesting the divorce and claiming emotional duress. They're pushing for a larger settlement given the lottery win. Sarah's eyes went huge. My mom called a lawyer for me, but I didn't tell her to. I hung up. Stared at Sarah. You're fighting me for more money. No. My mother doesn't know about, she just heard we were divorcing and But I'd already stopped listening. I was remembering something Patricia told me before she died. Something private just between us. Your mom's last words to me, I said quietly. She said, take care of my baby. You're the best thing that ever happened to her. Sarah broke completely. Sarah sank to her knees on Emma's floor, the kind of sobbing that makes you forget how to breathe. Gasping, choking, drowning in her own grief. My mom's last words to me? She could barely get the words out. She made me promise to never take you for granted. She told me you were better than I deserved. She told me about my father, how he left when she had cancer. How she raised me wrong at first, taught me to value the wrong things. I felt my composure crack. My eyes burned. She said. Sarah gasped for air. She said the man who stays when you're ugly and broken and dying, that's the man you keep. She made me promise, Joel. And I broke my dying mother's last wish. Emma was crying now too. The room felt too small, too heavy with grief. Your mother was a warrior, I said, voice breaking. She fought death for 18 months through sheer will. You know what else she told me? She said, Joel, my daughter couldn't handle this. She couldn't look at me dying. But you did. You never flinched. Sarah looked up at me, devastated. She was right, Sarah. You couldn't be there for her final moments. I was holding her hand when she died. You were in the cafeteria. I know. Sarah screamed it. I know. I'm a coward. I couldn't watch her die, so I let you do it alone. Is that what you want to hear? The rawness of it stunned us all into silence. I don't want the money, Sarah said, quieter now. I'll sign a postnup, a prenup, whatever legal document you want. You keep everything. I just want a chance to be the woman my mother knew I could be. My phone rang again. David Chin this time. I stared at it, then at Sarah's broken face. This is David. If I answer this call, I'm taking that job and moving to Austin. Last chance, Sarah. Sarah stood up slowly, wiping her face with the back of her hand. She looked me dead in the eyes, really looked at me maybe for the first time in years. I don't deserve you. But I'll earn you. What? Take the job. Move to Austin. Keep the money, all of it. I'll sign whatever your lawyer wants. She took a shaky breath. But give me one condition, let me come with you. Not as your wife. As your roommate. You're starting over from scratch project. Emma made a noise of surprise. Sarah, what are you? I'll get a job, any job. Retail waitressing, I don't care. I'll find my own apartment. Pay my own bills. Live on my own salary. Sarah's voice grew stronger. And every Sunday, if you're willing, let me make you dinner. Let me prove that I can love the man you are, not the money you have. I stared at her, speechless. If after a year you don't believe me, I'll walk away and never bother you again. But Joel, please. Tears streamed down her face. My mother was right about you. Let me finally be right about you too. I thought about my father. Robert Bennett, who bought lottery tickets every Friday not to win but to dream. Who taught me that forgiveness isn't weakness, it's refusing to let someone else's worst moment turn you into your worst self. Dad had been betrayed by his business partner Marcus. Lost everything. But he told me, hatred is drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Protect yourself, but don't carry bitterness into every new relationship. I answered the phone. David? It's Joel. I'm taking the job. I looked at Sarah. But I need to negotiate something. The relocation package, can it include assistance for 2 people? I have a roommate who'll need help finding employment in Austin. Sarah's breath caught. Roommate? David sounded confused on speaker. Joel, is everything okay? It will be. I need to know if that's possible. For you? Absolutely. HR can connect your roommate with our network. What's her field? Marketing coordinator. 6 years experience. I kept my eyes on Sarah. And David? She's going to earn her place. No favors. No special treatment. If she's not qualified, don't recommend her. Understood. Joel, are you sure about this? No. But my dad used to say being sure is overrated. Being brave is what counts. I hung up and turned to face Sarah fully. Here are the real conditions. 1. You sign a post-nup. The lottery money, the Tesla stock options, everything I earn, it's mine until you prove I can trust you again. Fair divorce settlement if we split, but nothing more. Yes, Sarah said immediately. 2. You get your own apartment. We date like we're starting over. No pressure. No expectations. If it doesn't work, you go your way, I go mine. Yes. 3. You go to therapy. Weekly. You deal with your grief about your mom, your resentment about money, all of it. I'll go too. But this doesn't work if you don't do the work. I'll start tomorrow. I took a deep breath. This last one would hurt her, but it was necessary. And 4. You write a letter to your mother. Tell her you're sorry for breaking your promise. Tell her you're going to fix it. And you read it at her grave before we leave for Austin. Sarah broke down crying again, but she was nodding through the tears. Okay. Yes. All of it. Emma looked at me like I'd lost my mind. Maybe I had. But maybe that was okay. We leave in 3 weeks, I said. Get your affairs in order. 2 weeks later. Rosewood Cemetery. Patricia's grave sat under an old oak tree, the headstone simple. Patricia and Morrison. Beloved mother. She stayed. Sarah knelt in the grass. I stood 10 feet behind her, giving her space. She pulled out a handwritten letter, hands shaking so badly the paper rattled. Dear Mama? Her voice cracked immediately. I broke the promise I made you. I took Joel for granted. I measured him against men who were never half what he is. I became the woman you warned me not to be, the one who values the wrong things. A breeze moved through the oak leaves. Sarah wiped her eyes and continued. But Mama, I'm going to fix it. Not because he's rich now, that money could disappear tomorrow and it wouldn't matter. But because you saw something in him I was too blind to see. You saw that love isn't about grand gestures. It's about showing up. It's about staying. My throat tightened. I looked away trying to keep my composure. It's about changing your bedpan at 3 a.m. and never making you feel ashamed. Sarah's voice broke completely. I'm going to Austin. I'm starting over. I'm going to work probably minimum wage and live in a studio apartment and eat ramen, and I'm going to be grateful for every second. Because Joel gave up $120,000 a year for you. And I repaid him by comparing him to a man who ghosted me when you needed me most. She placed the letter on the gravestone, weighted down with a rock. I'm going to earn him, Mama. I promise. This time I won't break it. As Sarah stood up, something caught my eye. A fresh flower on the grave, not from us. A white lily with a small note attached. I picked it up. The handwriting was elegant, elderly. Patricia saved my daughter's life once. She was a nurse who stayed late. We never forgot. The Morrison family. My breath caught. I handed it to Sarah. We both cried, understanding suddenly that Patricia's legacy wasn't just words. It was proof that staying matters. That showing up when everyone else leaves creates ripples that outlast you. 6 months later. Austin, Texas. My apartment had floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. I was reviewing engineering specs when someone knocked. Sarah stood at my door in business casual, holding wine and wearing a smile that actually reached her eyes. Not the performative one I'd grown to hate, but something real. I brought wine. And news. Come in. What's the news? She set the wine on my counter, and I noticed her hands weren't shaking. She looked lighter. I got promoted. Assistant marketing director at the nonprofit I've been working for. It's still only $52,000, but Joel, I earned it. They didn't know I was connected to you. They valued my work. Sarah, that's incredible. And she took a breath. I paid off the credit card debt I'd hidden from you. All $14,000. It's gone. My eyebrows shot up. I hadn't known about any debt. I was ashamed to tell you. I'd been trying to keep up with my friends' lifestyles, the brunches, the trips, the clothes. But I'm done with that. I'm done pretending. She looked at me earnestly. I sold my car, bought a used Honda. I shop at Goodwill. I meal prep on Sundays. And Joel? I'm happy. Actually happy. We sat on my couch. The same spot where we used to watch movies in our old life, except this felt different. No. I'm proud of you, I said and meant it. Tears filled her eyes. Can I ask you something? Are we dating? Like really dating? Or am I still proving myself? I reached for her hand. We're dating. Really dating. I'm not ready to remarry, not yet. But Sarah? You've shown up. For 6 months you've been the woman I fell in love with. The woman your mother knew you could be. Her phone buzzed. She glanced at it and I saw her expression change, surprise, then something like vindication. What is it? She showed me. A text from Melissa. Saw Brad got fired for embezzlement. His wife left him. He's living in his mom's basement. How's the maintenance guy? We both laughed. Not cruel laughter, but the kind that comes from realizing the universe keeps score in ways you can't predict. Sarah started typing a response, then stopped. She deleted Melissa's contact entirely. I don't need to prove anything to them anymore. What do you need? She looked at me with those eyes I'd fallen in love with 8 years ago. To prove it to you. Every day. And to myself. I squeezed her hand. For the first time in over a year, it felt right. On my desk behind us sat my father's old cigar box full of lottery tickets. Next to it, a framed photo of Patricia holding baby Sarah. And beside that, a note in my handwriting. She's earning it, Patricia. Just like you said she would. Outside the windows, Austin glowed in the dusk. 2 people starting over. 2 people learning that love isn't about being perfect. It's about staying when it's hard. Sarah leaned her head on my shoulder. We sat there watching the city lights come on, one by one, like small promises in the dark. Sometimes the person who leaves you does you a favor. But sometimes, the person who hurt you deserves a chance to become who they were always meant to be. We were both becoming something new. Together but separate. Earning each other. One day at a time.